What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 38 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Fay Enchantress Old World Classic campaign. So as we saw last time, a bunch of lovely battles as usual, but the most interesting one being Leonard and the first of our seagoing armies battles. We did manage to carry the day, though obviously with it being a new army, it was fairly dangerous, and against a Norscan force of very high veterancy, similar to this, we were always going to struggle at least a little bit more until we got some veterancy of our own. Nonetheless, it was really fun fighting in that sort of a limitation of the galleon formation, sort of a perpendicular formation to our usual caravan formation, but a nice thing to try out, and might be something I bring back for future campaigns, depending on how we like that sort of thing. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time, I took care of the admin between the episodes, mostly just upgrading a few duchies at long last to the tier 5, and otherwise leveling up the armies that are most likely to get attacked, in this particular case being Alberic's, and I do believe the companions of Quenelle right here. Well, let's see how the enemy, or if the enemy, decides to move against us. This one I'm particularly interested in because Tancred has not yet had the chance to fight. And he has a very specific army type, so interested in seeing how they do. Boris Ursa, strength rank 5. Not bad, buddy, not bad at all. Military alliance. Is it time yet? Not yet. But it will eventually be. We've arrived in Norscan, we're going to help you out. Maybe occupy some to trade you, maybe raise some, I will think about it. Though, you know, Boris holding all of Norska would be quite to our benefit. And the only potential issue being that with Boris holding all of Norska, there's more likelihood that he comes into contact with the Wood Elves, and they have a tendency to not be super fond of the Kislevites, because the Kislevites really want that wood. Well, not sure you giggle. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Bone Rattlers are too far from us to threaten us, but they are still very much threatening our allies, so we do have to be careful about that. I wonder if we can bring down Kolek. As in whether we ever get close enough to him. Also, kind of an... Ooh, hello, World Walkers. Will you go after Tancred de Quenelle? Yes, indeed you will. And hello. Suddenly, Wolfric... Oh, wow. Oh, I was not expecting this. We've suddenly got Wulfric the Wanderer himself to back up this army, as well as Soul Crusher and the War Mammoth, and yeah, we didn't see this army here. I think this is just the third army. The second one must have gone away somewhere. Oh, we have the Ancient Frost Dragon scale as well. Huh, we may actually have to use the Battle Pilgrims. But we'll see. Still, certainly an interesting thing. A close defeat. Let's see how the companions of Quenelle fare with both Calar and Tancred in the lead. Yeah.
Soon we will feast as scribes begin the tale of our glorious victory.
Alrighty, here we go. Debut battle for the golden armored Tancred de Quenelle and his super bright shining grail shield. I guess perhaps a broken texture, or perhaps on purpose, as a grail shield blinding its foes seems to be a thing for some of their items. Plus we have the legend, the protagonist of the Bretonnia trilogy, Calar de Garmont, and he is a legendary hero that we have. Look at all those auras that we've got around for everybody. It should be a nice first battle debut battle for the companions, and I forgot to take these guys off Pegasus Knights. They should be on horseback with the rest of these guys down below. Anyway, now because we're getting attacked suddenly by Wulfric, which we weren't expecting, I don't think the, 7 units or whatever this is of the companions are going to be able to take both of the armies on their own, so we will, by virtue of the fact this is way more than we were expecting, use the rest of our army, but only once Wulfric arrives on the field. We will start the fight in a little bit more evenly against this first army. Closing the distance first with the enemy Fimir, Noble, and Marauder Chieftain. Looks like the enemy will immediately countercharge us with all of the monsters and activate that Frost Dragon scale. Though I wonder how much damage this is going to do. Oh, actually, but it looks like a fair bit. Ooh, and they're going to follow that up with a... I don't know what that's called. It's like Thorson's Thunderstorm or whatever it is, but it is a potentially highly damaging unit. Again, the Norskins have access to all those monster hunt items, and lots of them have very strong abilities, damage-dealing abilities, that we should be wary of. And of course, at the same time, while the companions fight in the center of everything, the enemy's anti-large specialized piles of Marauder Hunters with javelins will be dishing out plenty of damage, and armor-piercing and shield breaker as well from the Marauder Hunters with throwing axes. Certainly something to be wary of. I suppose we're lucky that this particular army didn't have any Norscan whalers with them, because, well, that would have been even more anti-large damage. I remember really missing the Whalers and the Huskarls when last playing Norska, because I played playing Vanilla Norska as opposed to SFO Norska. Either way, the companions are doing reasonably well, but Mr. Wulfric's army has arrived, so it will mean that as soon as his army's reinforcements are here, so our quote-unquote reinforcements, i.e. the second half of our army. Possibly not a moment too soon, because not only have the Grain Guardians and the other Grail Guardians reached their healing cap, they are down to like 30% of their HP. But they did bring down the chieftain of the first army and in effect crippled the first enemy army by themselves, which I'm reasonably happy with. And that without lots and lots of cycle charging, just good old-fashioned fighting in a mod. A little bit more work as Wulfric's army comes in, and ooh, here comes a Soul Crusher, that blue-eyed War Mammoth. Together with a War Shrine Mammoth, or just regular War Mammoth, a rank 9 Veterancy War Mammoth as well. 72 melee attack, and 570 weapon strength, a little bit debuffed by Enfeeble Attack and Warrior Bane. Actually pretty solid. Taking like 90, actually a little bit more weapon strength off any units nearby from those two combining is pretty good. And oh lord, a second activation of the Frost Dragon scale are really starting to get annoying on those Grail Guardians, and we're going to back them off. Too many abilities hitting them. They're both down to severe, well, they've both taken severe damage, both reached their healing cap. We're going to back them up and heal up a little bit while the rest of our units move in. And of course, as they do, the enemy again activates that Thunderstorm ability. Lightning strikes hitting the piles of battle pilgrims. And though the Grail Guardians have withdrawn, the other units, as in the heroes, the Paladins and Calag and Tancred, are still very much in the fight, though they are, of course, still taking damage now that Wulfric is leading the other two War Mammoths. Plus all the other things down there, that Skinwolf Werekin, there's a couple of Chimeras. Certainly a very dangerous debut for the companions here. We get a little bit of healing going on our units of Grail Guardians, and then we send them right on back into the fray, while our Battle Pilgrims do their best to mob whatever units they can here. And hey, at least this way we get to see the Battle Pilgrims fight in Norskins as well. At least so far we haven't actually had the chance to do all that much of that. Alright, how are we doing otherwise? A Paladin routing. That's not good, but also I don't remember that happening. Or maybe it did and I missed it. I'll be fine, I'm sure. He does have over 1,000 HP remaining, and we can heal him up if needed. He'll be back. Anyway, looks like Wulfric has actually peeled away from the companions, as I did order them to try to attack him, and it does seem that he wanted to move towards the rest of these guys. It kind of makes sense, because the War Mammoths are fantastic for anti-infantry, that perhaps they don't want to waste all their time attacking these guys instead. Ooh, and a Searing Doom comes down. Man, these guys have been taking so many spells and abilities over the course of this battle. Tancred is also down to 30% of his HP. Oh, and he's so close to his rank 12 too, but not quite there. Oh well, and just gotta keep fighting. And is that a third freaking Frost Dragon scale? How many of those do they have? And that's on top of the casters that they have. I imagine that if the Frost Dragon scale has a third use, then perhaps the Thunderstorm does as well. Or is it maybe a Dragon Ogre thing? I don't remember what all the items are and what they do. On the bright side, though, Wulfric is in pretty bad shape now as we summon the Green Knight to take care of him. And by the looks of it, dishing out 7.5k damage, the Green Knight breaks him, and thanks to Grail Banishment in part, forces him to flee. It looks like our Paladin is back and has actually recovered a decent little bit of his HP, and though they are still severely damaged, the Grail Guardians and Grain Guardians here, and down to half of their number and about 20% of their HP and healing cap, are still very much in the fight, riding through the ranks of the enemy range units to prevent them from attacking with their anti-large, and dishing out whatsoever damage they can. One of our paladins has engaged Soul Crusher now in a duel, and hopefully we can move a few more of our companions to him. Though the enemy is now starting to run out of units, there are still some, well, maybe not some, plenty to go around, let's say. Tancred and Kalau, easy to spot in the center of all this. And then the balance of power remains in the enemy's favor, perhaps surprisingly, but the Green Knight takes Wulfric and his Mammoth out at this point. Our Battle Pilgrims have now suffered a fair bit of damage, but I do believe there is only one Mammoth remaining. Nope, two Mammoths remaining on field. This one still fighting the Grail Guardians and damaging them severely, I'm sure, because they can no longer heal. But, by the looks of it, maybe not for long. Oh, I was about to say maybe this entire enemy army will have shattered, but not quite yet. Ooh, there's a Femir Noble in here as well. These guys are pretty darn scary. How we doing out here? Paladin has not quite defeated the Soul Crusher and the severely damaged two Grey... Huh, they shouldn't be that low in HP. Might be a desync. Yeah, I feel like this guy should be dead at this point. Everything else looks okay, but yeah, these guys are more damaged than they should be. I wonder why the desync now? We have no Foot Knights in this army, so what would cause it? Oh, it might be something about Norska that causes desync. I gotta pay attention or double check for other fights when we fight Norska if there is a desync. It might be that, for example, some of those items that they have or something will cause the issue. So we'll have to watch out for that. Not that it's a huge deal, as the battle is mostly going like it's supposed to. Callard and Tancred still fighting back-to-back. Still completely surrounded by foes and still whacking away at them. And it looks like the Mammoths are not quite out of the picture and are in pretty bad shape. A Grail Relic is fine. The Green Knight is now unsummoned. But yeah, see how the Green Knight is unsummoned over here and how these guys aren't participating despite being at full HP? This is because of the desync. These guys were withdrawn because they were down to like 20% of their HP, but they aren't here because they desynced and thus didn't take as much damage as they should have. But what can you do? Sometimes desyncs just happen, that's just life. Some factions get them a lot more. I noticed a ton of desyncs with Tomb Kings and occasionally against Tomb Kings. Khorne has it occasionally, but I have the sneaking suspicion that it's because Khorne has Executioner in a lot of places, or the Executor trait, which I know causes desyncs. But at the very least, it's a relatively minor desync, and in the sense that it seems to cause no difference in terms of the outcome of the battle. And by the looks of it, nice Gehenna's Golden Hounds into that blob of units. Yeah, see, the AI is still giving orders as if it's playing this, which it is, but our units aren't. Wait a second. That's actually interesting. Unless the AI actually used that Gehenna's Golden Hounds there in the actual fight as well. So the thing I'm wondering is, the players' units clearly follow the orders that they were given during the battle when the desync occurred, but if the AI is actually not following or repeating those orders, but simply repeating its fight against the player, meaning it would be responding to different orders, which would actually exacerbate the desync problem. If anything, the AI should be following the same orders that it was given during the actual fight. but I suppose it doesn't matter very much. Anyway, the battle is, well, in fact, at this point, it was done, which you can probably tell by the fact that most of our units aren't moving and are just ignoring most of the enemies, like all of these mammoths, which we would have easily surrounded. At this point, I think everybody was just chasing enemies down, and regardless, the enemy shatters, and the battle is ours. Trust me when I say both of the mammoths and stuff were destroyed, and our units didn't sit there, and the Green Knight didn't just sit and wait until he disappeared after he had killed off Mr. Wulfric. Either way, even with the desync, I think it was still a nice battle. We saw plenty of Tancred and Cala fighting in the center of the mob here. And due to the desync, it looks like one of the Lost Sons died, but trust me when I say that, well, he didn't actually die. Ooh, there we go. Definitely a tough fight, but a fantastic debut for the companions here. We had enough enemies, and all of them being at high tier, especially all of the additional mammoths and stuff, plus Wulfric being at level 30, that it necessitated using our other elements of the army, like the piles of battle pilgrims, but that made for a pretty darn decent fight. In addition to that, of course, in order for these guys to be self-sufficient, for the heroes to be self-sufficient and all that, they actually need to level up, so this will, well, help out. At the very least, it gets Tancred to rank 13, unless the game is lying and he's actually at rank 11, but we're about to find out. Speaking of Tancred, 17,000 damage, 13 and 11 on the two Lost Sons here, 24k on Cala. Huh. How do he do so much? That's kind of interesting. He actually has the lowest weapon strength of all these guys. Does he have a mini Mortis engine effect? I gotta double check him. 19k damage on one of the paladins and 17k on the other, and 58 and 57 on both the Grail Guardians, which were both down to like 30% of their HP and had long reached their healing cap. Yeah, very dangerous for them. Thankfully, we had enough healing to keep us going. We will take the money, I guess. And then we're going to see whether, what is this? Oh, the little territory we captured. Yeah, we don't care about it. Go for it, buddy. Are you going to capture it? Why would you do this? You're just going to get yourself killed by this army anyway. And the thing I'm very curious about is to see whether Capitano Sissoko will take this opportunistic moment to attack us. I see Aranessa has moved away from where Alberic is, which is a bit unfortunate. Perhaps I hoped for too much there, but oh well. Military alliance, no. Not with you. Never with you. Maybe they've been punished enough for their attack on Caesarea Wood, I don't know. And, Genesis goes still there. What do we have here? A caravan encounter. Keep moving on the established route, or spend a little money to journey a little bit faster. Yeah, go for it. Alright, enemy killed in battle, another Ranger's standard, always nice to have. We get defeated Wulfric the Wanderer, which will help out, but most importantly, rank 12. Meaning, Virtue of Purity for you, Ward Save. Companions de Quenelle, melee attack and charge bonus for all lords and embedded heroes, plus 10 in the army. Victor of La Maison Tall doesn't really help us, because it's only buffs against Vampire Counts, Coast, and Tomb King, so undead. Melee defense when unknown territory, again, not super helpful here. What do we have here? Income from farms, minus 2% faction-wide? No thank you. Why would we ever do this? This is probably thousands of gold to get a pretty terrible buff for fighting specifically greenskins? Ooh, leadership on fighting greenskins. No. What are you oh, but in order to get to the Duke of Quenelle, then you have to go through this. Diplo with Oral when attacking, unit XP when fighting against greenskins. I mean, this is fine. Specifically against greenskins only, mind you. Honestly, this is kind of meh. I do like the 15% hero recruitment reduction cost for paladins and Sons of Quila, but the 2% income from farm reduction will cost way more than we'd ever save. Weird. Oh well. You also get the Grail Shield and the Blade of Kuran apparently as point. So we'll do that as well as max out Worshippers of the Grail. And thusly... Settlement sacked, yeah, we don't care about that one. And we got the Blessing of the Fay now available as well. Journey complete, Jean de Yoink. She has Trestle is unhappy. Yeah, they did just get sacked, so I can see that. And aha, landing here reveals us some orcs. and the Gate of the Stars, which I believe is supposed to be a Cathan faction here. And the Grail Shield, melee defense plus 12, and an area blinding imbuement, which ain't too bad. John the Young Steelies, please. And the Blade of Kurun gives us an on-fire imbuement, which is weakness to fire damage, which is great. And now here's the thing. One moment. Unless I'm mistaken, you, little fella, you had that other fire reduction thing, didn't you? Yeah, nobody else here does. And we have the Lance of Fire Damage Reduction. Upkeep for Paladin Heroes Lord's Army? Yeah, that's fine. What was this here? Not the Armor of Destiny. The Silver Lance of the Blessed. Flammable effect. So we should put that on somebody. I had Kala holding the Brass Cleaver to buff everybody, but maybe we give this to somebody else. The Sons of Bretonnia don't... Well, one of them has a Warrior Bane. Alright, fine. We'll give the Brass Cleaver to the other one then. Alright, you. I'll lose the Brass Cleaver. Unless you get some... Oh, no, but you're going to get Blinding Majesty, which gives you Grail Banishment, which means we can't use that ability. Technically speaking, the Lost Sons won't have an overwriting effect like Blinding Majesty. Therefore, we gotta put the Blessed Lance on the Lost Sons. I mean, in theory, we could just not give him that, but meh. We might also put Doomsinger and Deathsinger in this army. Frankly, the Lost Sons are rather fragile compared to the other guys, because I presume... Wait. Coordinated Carnage, Glittering Scales... Wait, you have a Glittering Scales? I don't know if you have Glittering Scales. I know you have a Warrior Band, okay. Knight, Blessing of the Lady, Bolster Attack. Yeah, so you have Grail Vitality. And we do also have Grail Vitality on these guys. I guess they just have lower melee defense and less HP and such, and it's making them feel a little bit less tanky. Well, either way, we're going to give you the Blessed Lance for now. Or Silver Lance, rather. Like so. Then, you, sir, are going to grab My Vow to buff in the area, and we'll grab... I'm going to say Holy Light into My Vow, like so. We should level everybody while we're here. You need to get Lost Sons of Bretonnia, so let's get you maxed out Faw's Protection, because it's really that good. And get you Pure Heart, good. Paladin, you now have reached Blinding Majesty, so that's, well, basically everybody's going to be affected by this in this particular army. Or whoever's fighting this particular army, and then keep going through Selective Abhorrence. Like so, sir. You, Healer, into Light of the Lady, though obviously you're not actually staying near the companions, and eventually, once again, these guys will be sort of in the back and watching the action, essentially. You. Let's say another point in Earthblood because we wanted to be able to cast it cheaper. You are still going to Blinding Majesty, so Selective Abhorrence, like so, and then you. Sons of Bretonnia, and max out Faw's Protection, both of which are quite nice. Alright. Looks like you're pretty good. You'll deal with these guys in a second or in a minute or what have you, but for now, we got other stuff to do. And hello. What you doing there, buddy? You want another fight against one of the ship-going armies or sea-going armies? I certainly wouldn't complain. Oh, well, look at that. These guys have taken Auk Ness. Huh. If Yenbo has taken this, I wonder if these guys are going to be the ones to take Nagranoth. Again, the horrific, terrible, awful... Border Gore and Albion is just awful. What can you do? I mean, we can fix it ourselves to some degree, but eventually. Yeah, I would have really wanted Alberic to face off against Aranessa, but now I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do that. I guess if we take Lucchini with somebody other than Alberic and then have him advance, we could have him try to take land at Porta Major. Manually fight the fight, and then perhaps, nah, they wouldn't be able to reach him. But at least he'd be closer. We could leave Lucchini to Folcar then. I don't think there's anybody else here. Let's move you, Teclis. Down here. Aha, there's another army down here. And another army. Well, yeah, no wonder these guys are doing well. They got a lot of armies. And this is the way that it should always feel when fighting the undead. Also, let's pick attack. You have now got the Replenishing Mist, so we have the Capstone. Let us move through... I'm going to say start with Bretonnian Steeds for a Vigor Loss reduction. Yeah. The longer spears does tempt me as well, but we'll start with that, and then we got the knightly buffs that we can go through otherwise. You can stay here and keep an eye on everybody. You can... Well, there's no real need to steal tech. Anyway, well, let's start from the top once again. Fay Enchantress. So many turns, 6 more turns until the Green Knight is back. You will have to trespass in order to get to Krugenheim, but at least you can get there. I don't imagine Draco will attack us. Who's she fighting, incidentally? -4 is fighting nobody. She will probably cancel the trade agreement a second time, but I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, let us go like this. To Krugenheim. And, oh, I actually don't want to trespass a second time with Eleanor, so I think you could just avoid the trespass. Man, okay. Continue the siege. Give me a minute. If you go here, you will not have crossed... no, I want you to go... No. Go out to the river from this side, not from the other side. Yeah, you're gonna have to waste all your movement points to do this. Actually, you know what? What if this guy sails out? Huh. That's actually an interesting question, because if we land with you, they might be so afraid that they will sail out. Can we auto-resolve this here? We can. It'll damage us, but it's probably not worth fighting a bunch of Graveguard with no elite support. And, oh, this is actually their last territory, so we'd have time to move northward and heal, wouldn't we? Yeah, alright. I think then at least we can preserve the points available to Renee. By auto-resolving this. Yes. Taking some damage, occupying it. Like so. This creates a port here for us, and destroys Tempelhof, and allows Renee to simply move, like so. And then head northward to fight the Fecundites and the Greenskins, which are, I note, advancing. We're gonna need to help them out a teensy bit, especially against that Wa. Alright. Then, we will move Eleanor like this, just to preserve the relationship with Draca to some degree, but yeah, she is not happy. But she's never happy, so that's life. Alrighty, Bertrand. Too real, man. Too real. What do we have here? So the tough fight would be at Nagranath. And I still want to land Tancred here to face down Bellicor for his last fight. We can actually reach Nagranath with Raeola's Beaumont, though again, that'll be another battle where we have to use 2 armies, and the issue there will be that once again we'll probably stop being able to fire. We could try an ambush again, although we should probably take one of these places. Lost Ericsson's Landing is probably fairly poorly defended, isn't it? Yeah, alright, you know what? We'll do this. Mariam Dutremere, you will take Lost Ericsson's Landing. You can't reach Lonely Ogben, can you? You can. And you know what? I think we'll use you to take Lonely Ogben like this. We'll keep Raeolas here for the turn, just keeping an eye on the beached Black Ark of Nagranath. Auto-resolve this because it's garbage. Do we need to level anybody? I don't think so. Auto-resolve, it'll take some damage, but we always do. Occupy. Lovely. Crusader. And student for Guilagro, though it no longer matters. As in the research, because we've maxed it out. You can... What? What? I get that it's a... I get that this is a pile of peasants, but really, game? Really? Okay, we'll deal with this manual in a few seconds. Also, can you guys be upgraded yet? You need to be rank 5 or 6. I wanted... you can be Arimosha, so maybe this will take us over the edge. Nope, no dice. Well, screw you too, game. You can get Wild Heart, and we don't really need Muster the Farm, so you still have Bonded Service, but I guess it's fine. You can grab... Oh, I just remembered something. Max out Flock of Doom. Don't attack this yet. I will try to remember that I still have to do it. You can switch to regular stance. Tancred will deal with you in a second. I believe somebody here has reached rank 30.
I have seen your heart.
Or no. 29? Wait. Who fought Wurzag? Melaine Dutremere. Really? We have no single rank 30? Renee Deniau, you have... Oh, that's... Okay, I saw a rank 30 on one of the prophetesses, and I was wondering who it was. So we need to get to the Ladies' Luminaries. So we'll grab Mysticism, and we'll go into the Ladies' Luminaries, +1 melee defense for all melee infantry units. Faction-wide. Take 73 turns to get our first Lord up. Makes me jealous of all the...
The nation calls.
all the buffs that the AI clearly has to the leveling and all that, but at the same time, it would never keep up if it didn't have them, so, yeah, you know, anyway, who's next that we got? Nope, nobody's next. I will forget it if I don't do it right now. Go for Lost Erickson Landing. Manually fight this super quick as I can, quick as you please. I'll try to do it at max speed. You can't quite trust the skirmish mode, so we still have to be careful a little bit, but it is what it is. Right, then I just want to see what the ranges are like. So you're at 176, you're at 220, and you're at 175, meaning these guys are too close in range. All right, so what we'll want to do is this. Start deployment. We'll use the Erimo Chasseur as the second line, you guys as the first line, like so. So, spread yourselves out a little bit. And then we will have you B group. I don't know. Okay, you can, oh, you're not a, yeah, you are on flying mount. Okay, good. Then you guys, I'm gonna say you go here, you go here, you just need to keep an eye on where those dogs are gonna go. You go here, you can hit them with a little bit of magic, and then you actually want to get behind the enemy army. I take it the dogs are here, so you're gonna start here, like so. Alright, so you're gonna be group 1, you're gonna be group 2. For now, I'm gonna turn off skirmish mode. You can group up, and you can group up as well. Skirmish mode off, skirmish mode off. Alrighty, and then you guys get ready to countercharge the dogs like this. You should be able to eat them. And you know what? You can just countercharge with them. Alright, I believe that's all we need to do. Alright. Like this, then we hit the... I want to hit the 3. What can you do? Alrighty, you guys get ready. Alright, you guys group 1, back it up. You guys go this way. Dogs need to die. Sad though it may be. And then you guys back off this way. Try not to kill too many of our own units. Ideally, go here. Alright, and then get ready to back off. You, I wanted behind the enemy army since you share a sort of range with those guys. You know what? Let's buff these guys up briefly. Alright, and then back up before you get bogged down fighting the Chaos Warriors. You're not gonna get that damage anyway, and frankly, they're gonna break anyway. Alright, good. And then you just keep on doing this thing. You guys stay behind the enemy army if they present shields to the main force, so then they get hit in the back, etc, etc. Another reason to keep them separate like this, and then back up a little bit. In fact, maybe separate yourselves into 2, like so. Wheel around a little bit. Enemy's doing a decent job. Alright, let's separate you guys as well. You guys go here. You guys go here, attack them from every direction. You get ready to deal with the dogs again. In fact, you know what? It might be easier to just do this. There we go. The Flock of Doom will kill him. You guys back off. You guys go here. Stay close. Not too close. Alright. And we're good here. We're good here. You guys get ready to chase down the doggos. You maybe separate yourselves too. Like so, like so. Just make sure to fire on the enemy from different directions. And what do we get here? Good. You guys stay in the middle of everything. You guys back off. You guys back off. Looking good to me. Back off. You guys move forward. You guys keep chasing the dogs. Yes, this is kind of silly, but it's kind of the nature of having armies like this. And then, you know what? Just move away. Okay, maybe not away through the enemy, if you can. Just, please. Don't be an idiot. 5 seconds. Alright. Good. And good. You know what? Fire into the backs of these Chaos Warriors. You know what? You guys fire into the sides or back of these Chaos Warriors. You go after this, you go... Hey. Back off. Forgot about you. Oh, one of you died. I blame myself. And yet, is a Bretonnian victory complete if at least some peasants don't die? With no peasant casualties, it just feels wrong, doesn't it? Anyway, you guys go chase down these since they're running. In fact, you can go chase down this. Try not to get bogged down. You have backed off. And yeah, all the little buildings here are kind of an issue for you. Alright, you're good. The Chaos Warriors should be done for in a second. There we go. We can use these guys to potentially chase them down if we're not too busy. Yeah, you guys fire upon these guys and yeah, see? Don't move like that. Don't run through the enemy. Frankly, we could probably surround and kill off a couple of the Marauder units at the very least with the range units. You guys go here and go after that. That unit is shattered. Now this is the only one that remains, plus the units that we're chasing down. There we go. Don't fire into the guys chasing, you bunch of idiots. Can't trust the AI. Alrighty. When you want them to fire regardless of casualties on your own, the AI will refuse. When you don't want them to fire, they'll kill half of your horsemen with friendly fire. Anyway, quick little fight. Obviously, this army doesn't have a lot of armor piercing, so if this was like actual Chaos Warriors and stuff, it would have been a lot more of a problem. Funnily enough, if we had not used these guys... Actually, wait, out of curiosity, we got 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 23. So 4 kills to friendly fire. Actually, not so bad. I would have expected worse. Good job. Oh, and before I forget, we need to replace you with one of those crownless lords, actually. I'm gonna get one on field right now, because otherwise they'll forget. I remember talking about it last episode. And somehow, I knew I'd forget. Occupy. Again, don't care about Lost Ericsson's Landing or this place. We will put you into extensive patrols, and then we will replace you with a nice crownless lord of the bow variety. Your bow, right? No, your sword. Ah, but you have the 30% character XP gain. Yeah, but this is an all-ranged army, so I guess we're gonna go with Weapon Master. Yeah, you at least have the reload time reduction, so it can increase your damage even though it's not critical. Like so. And we'll get you channeling. And I guess we'll get to healer. Maybe we'll keep a beast's prophetess in this. Oh, not prophetess. We can't get one here. Oh. This is the closest place. We should be able to get a mage out of this location. Oh, also, before I forget, let's build up the Barracks of Valor. You already have the Barracks of Valor. We also need to upgrade you in order to build the Pegasus area, or whatever the name of the building is. Anyway, let's keep going now. But keep going in order. Meline d'Outre-mer. You, who have done so well to take out Wurzag, will now besiege Flying Fortress. Frankly, with Wurzag destroyed, his main army destroyed, our allies are probably having a much easier time taking all of his territories. I note that the Wurzag was doing really, really well, then we took out 2 of his armies, and bam, he's probably broken. I see the Yvresse High Elves are certainly taking advantage of all this. Good for them, I suppose. I do worry about the border gore and the fact that they all might get into a war with the Exiles of Nehek, but, you know, Bretonnians are perfectly happy to fight Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings are perfectly happy to fight almost anybody. But anyway, let's see. You besiege this. I'm going to say build siege equipment. They are most likely going to sally out, so we should be fine to fight this in the field. Let us level, though. You were going to go to Potent. I mean, I guess we could max out Flesh to Stone Awakening of the Woods still. Especially since you don't really need soft spot for small folk, etc.
Slay them.
Unlike some of the other armies. You have 3 lines. 1, 2, 3, so you're good. Unless, wait, you're using basic Pegasus Knights, so you actually want Protectors of the Realm. Kind of bothers me that it's like that, but whatever. As in the Royal Pegasus Knights and regular Pegasus Knights have a different tier 7 upgrade from the Red Line. Luan Diderot. Wait, are you even next? Attention to the Order, Ruinous. You're part of the Order Tide, after all. Alright, Alicia Le Saracen, yeah, you're fine. You're just a recruiter, at least for now. Admins don't need to move. Oh, Luan Diderot was next. Ha, okay. Luan, go and besiege Valais Sorrow, or auto-resolve it, depending on what's there. Bellegarde's moving there. We could sack it, he'd most likely just take it. Even if it's the unchivalrous thing to do. Yeah, but then we won't heal. You just give it to him. Who are you at war with? You're at war with... Oh, you're not even at war with these guys, so you wonon't take it. Ah, okay, I'm glad I didn't sack it then. Leonie, you're gonna go here and leech. Are you able to read leech as well? No. Hopefully you don't get immediately killed off by a rat. But I guess you guys don't really matter over much. You're mostly just following around. Anyway, we'll auto-resolve this. It'll do some damage, I'm sure, but I don't see another army capitalizing on this, so we should be fine. Another glittering scales, nice, and a trickster shard. Alright. Stay here, I guess. Hey, you reach rank 30. Ladies Luminaries. All right, that's 2. That's a +2. Worshippers of the Grail, I guess, is the next thing. Got peasant proficiency. Yeah, we have the main casting stuff that we spam a lot. Leveled up. Light of the Lady and healing for you, sir. And Retinue Valet until we get into Retinue Physician. You, since you don't have a damsel, need Retinue Physician more than a lot of the other armies do because you don't heal quite as much. Not that you heal all that bad, mind you. Alright, looks good to me. So that was Luan Diderot. You need to channel. Yes, you do. Channel. You need to channel. You can't channel. Actually, Luan does not need to channel. Good. Who's next? Cadman doesn't need to move. Gustav the Savior was going to pick up an army, so you're going to go here. Arnaud the Devoted we were going to send out to sea in order to go towards Chaos. Although, funnily enough, you could always use him to support this for now. Since he's down here, maybe get an earlier fight. We'll see. Even with all the dukes down there, there's plenty of fighting to be had against Sartosa. It also feels weird to have like a pirate empire of the likes, though. Pirates not being known for that sort of thing, I guess. Anyway, you have fell cargo, which is most likely a battle, so I guess you'll stop. Full speed stance, and yes it is. Sail to the wreck. Auto resolve. And take the ransom captives this time. Alright, what do we got? Another treasury. No materials. Let's see. And not even a lost cargo. Yeah, definitely haven't had a great amount of islands in terms of getting faction-wide buffs. We have made a lot of cash grabbing those islands. On the bright side, we are also close to Stark. The question, I guess, here is going to be whether we want to land at Salkalton and most likely pick up the Plague, or just try to run through it and hopefully not pick up the Plague. Rosefells will Rosefall, and maybe that will keep you busy. Maybe we should have just landed here. I also think that there was a anti... Yeah, we have the... You know what? Go for cobblestone roads. Plague spreading. I will get Bretonnian steeds after. Bretonnian seeds. Anyway, the seed is strong. What else do we have here? The next... Okay, I lost my place a little bit. Levy of the Braid. You are still safe to buy some stuff. No, you are not. Can you reach this in next turn? I don't know. What I do know is that there's no guarantee. So, we will buy some Ogre Bulls. There's no guarantee that we'll actually need them. But I'll pick up a few extras. Just in case. It's gonna cost us some cash. What the heck? Did I double click you? My bad, dude. Again. We'll pick up all the Ogre Bulls. Frankly, it's the Ogre Bulls with dual weapons that we really want. The regular Ogre Bulls are kind of meh. You know, pick up some regular Ogre Bulls. Pick up a couple more Man-Eaters. Maybe a couple more Man-Eaters with Ogre Pistols. And one Giant. Let's go get all the Man-Eaters. We don't need too many Ogres. Or too many more Ogres than we have, I think. Do that. Get the other Man-Eater. Man-Eaters being mercenaries makes the most sense. And yeah, that took like 20,000 gold, but we should be, you know, it's reasonable. We have a reasonable amount of Ogres now. For whichever armies we put them in. Also, you are going to go into this army. You are technically a different type of spy than the spy that we have there, but the likelihood of getting both types the same is relatively low, and I'm not going to wait for it. You go here. Alright, so that was Olivier of the Braid. Who is next? Huh? Did I already go past you? Oh, I clicked you, but it didn't highlight you. Well, that's just great. Areolas Beaumont, you are waiting for one turn. Leonard, I do believe you have another little seagoing fight. Isn't that lovely? Let's level you, and then let's get on into it. Do you have Arcane Conduit? Yes. We have Curse of the Midnight Wind maxed out. Let's get Aura of the Lady, especially in the close confines of a ship formation, or the galleon formation. 20% is quite nice, and so is potentially the heals. You can also grab a Retinue Valet, like so.
Eternal devotion.
Another nice thing about having the friars is that by providing their heals, even if they are small range heals, is that it doesn't make you feel like you always have to bring a lure of life damsel. I don't anyway, granted, because I like to, mix up the lures as much as possible, so we use them all. But it is still a nice thing. Anyway, Charon, you're next. Also, appropriate name for a guy on a ship, wouldn't you say? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regiments of renown, which is somewhat concerning. And a lot of veterancy, and a lot of chariots. Go figure. Go.
Make the Grail companions proud, for still they watch over you. Go the
Alrighty, here we go, another round for our ship formation army. The army of the enemy, however, is only a 3/4 stack compared to the last time, but they are all maxed out in gold chevrons in terms of their veterancy, and there's a bunch of regiments of renown as well. I forgot how many, at least 5 and at least 6? Yeah, I think 6. Well, either way, that's certainly going to be trouble. Anyway, as usual, we take up position, well, this time we're using a hill, but frankly it wouldn't matter where, as long as we could position our ship, quote-unquote, in a way that we wanted to. Does look like in this particular map, it's actually somewhat disadvantageous to us, because the enemy can use the hill for cover for a lot of the time. On the bright side, once they run past it, our cannons can certainly do a fair bit of work to the poor marauder horsemen or whatever cavalry units attempt to charge them, especially against the cannon, which do quite well at knocking them out. Alrighty, looks like the enemy does attempt to close on the right flank with some armored skin wolves, and specifically the Maws of Savagery, a regiment of renown. We do close the distance with them, with our Lord and Pegasus Knights alike, buffing up the Pegasus Knights with a nice harmonic convergence in order to have them dish out more damage quickly before the rest of the enemy army arrives. Speaking of the rest of the enemy army, we've got the enemy chieftain close by at rank 38, no less, or level 38, no less, and he's popping off Soul Stealer to damage us, so we counteract that with the Blessing of the Fay, healing our army and popping a massive amount of magical resistance, or not a massive amount of it, but at the very least a large area of magical resistance for us. Here we go, we got the Mist Stalkers, Female Warriors, together with Marauder Ice Wolf Chariots closing in. And, well, funnily enough, one of the effects of having the cannons out front, while they can take damage from sort of area of effect stuff, they do actually help in preventing larger models from charging through, because they are objects, they have mass, and thusly it's actually helping our pole arms hold the line. Plus this makes it look like more like the enemy's trying to clamber over the sides of the ship, over the cannons, and we are just doing our best to defend. Isn't it lovely? And by the looks of it, some of the enemy has foolishly moved to the front of the ship, which means I do believe that cannon is going to be able to fire at them. Which the enemy, I'm sure, is not going to be too happy about. Because otherwise we don't turn the land ship. And we keep it locked down. Ooh, nice gunning down of one of the Marauder Chariots. And there we go, Cannon Blast right in the center. Though, funnily enough, I just saw it kill off a Pegasus Knight. Well, I guess the Knights weren't wrong about the dangers of artillery and armor-piercing stuff to the Knights. They just don't want their own peasants to have them. Alrighty, and it looks like the Maws of Savagery are still in the fight, but not for too much longer. We've been somewhat damaging the enemy lord, but otherwise ignoring him. And otherwise, they're still attempting to hold the sides of the ship. Gonna pop off a nice wind blast through the enemy ranks, disrupting their formation a teensy bit, and otherwise just dishing out a little bit of damage. Ooh, the Icehorn Marauders always look pretty darn good. I love the sort of almost square armor that they have on their pauldrons. Looks nice. Though I would imagine that's probably structurally weaker than a sort of completely rounded pauldron. or at the very least, less likely to deflect a blow, I imagine. But I digress. The battle's power has shifted to about 70% in our favor, but there is still battle to be had, and I want to point out that while we back away our artillery crews, the enemy range units are focusing down the artillery pieces with those Marauder javelins. We can't back them off and away from the ship, and so the Blessed Field trebuchets have lost, I think this unit has actually lost all 4 of the actual trebuchets. Not their crews, of course, but the artillery pieces take damage, and several of the cannons have been destroyed in a similar manner. But we fully expected it to be so. And this time we're doing our best to keep the Friar out of, out of the water, quote-unquote. And together with the rest of the units that he's supporting, which is much needed, while the Pegasus do their best to, to continue their work, though they are fairly damaged at this point. This one in particular down to 12 units and like 15% of its HP. Enemies still attempting to break through our lines and breach the ship as it were, but it looks like it is failing to do so. And with the Mist Stalkers and Icehorn Marauders shattering at last, I do believe their lord will similarly shatter, and with that, the battle is ours. Oh wow, 8,000 damage? Not so bad. I wonder how much of that was from Soul Stealer, though, because he was just sitting back and whacking away at us with throwing axes from the Marauder Ice Wolf Chariot. I really wish that you could have stats that would separate what the damage was dealt by, because if it was by Soul Stealer, then obviously it didn't do too much with the throwing axes, but I would be curious to find out. Anyway, well, looks like the Brutes of the Hound are still fighting, or one Brute of the Hound is still fighting now. And there we go. With that, he gets brought down, and the battle is ours. Lovely. Another lovely fight for this army, to be sure. And we'll do our best to chase the enemy. Wait, do we even need to? I don't remember. Well, we're gonna do so just in case. Chase them down. Alrighty, there we go. Another nice, tough fight. Once again, the self-imposed limitations of this army make the battle significantly more difficult, especially as we can effectively only maneuver the Pegasus, the 2 units of Pegasus Knights, and our Lord outside of the area of the Galleon, per those limitations, and having the Great Cannons sort of be on the broadside, meaning that they get charged, or at the very least are liable to take damage, and making them more vulnerable and stuff also makes for some interesting stuff. Of course, the land ship not being able to move, and frankly the Blessed Field Trebuchets are in the same position. Overall, very much enjoying it. Anyway, we'll take the money. I guess we should heal up after this once again. And a free Grail Shield. And unfortunately, I only get the 1 level out of that, but what can you do? We can, in theory, cross to here, or at least close to it, but I think once again we'll go right here, heal up the coast of Lyonesse. Maybe another army will show up, maybe it won't, but we do have another seagoing or ship army that is moving out there. Do you want to take a turn of attrition, or do you want to stay here first? You can move significantly further, but go along the coastline for 1 more turn here, and then head north afterwards. Also, yeah, 1 turn until we can upgrade you. Really looking forward to that. Maybe pump out a few more ship armies. Who is up next? That was Leonard, I believe, not Gaspard Lebeau. Leo Armistead, what are you doing? So you and Chilfoy d'Artois are hanging around Rafrafa. I was going to head you to Port-au-Major. Hey, you know what? No, Albert, I want you to attack from the sea and take Port-au-Major. Go here. Go here. We'll have Fulcar land at Lucchini. Shouldn't be a problem for him. I don't think any of these armies can actually reach him. And get closer to Aranessa, like so. Well, unfortunately, we can't auto-resolve this because it will take unnecessary damage. So blockade this for now. I might do this between the episodes, I might not, depending. Now, Aranessa would be able to reach Bowmen, but would she attack him here together with Adelard is the question. And the answer is I don't know. Either way, we will push you here to Rafrafa. Like so. We will take the additional troops out of Maximilian Le Chasseur and his, well, army. You have the Dukedom's Bond? Yes, you do. Good.
Lend me your swords.
And we are trading them to Bowmen. Like so. For these three. Like so.
Blessings of the lady be upon
Yeah, again, it's an anti-large specialist army, and I figured the aspirant hoods make more sense as a single entity killers, maybe?
Lord of Bretonnia.
Yes. Anyway, Adelard, you will reinforce... Oh, you're gonna have to march stance as well, aren't you? I'm not sure you're actually in range if they attack. You know what, go into the crusade stance. The melee defense reduction doesn't really matter for the blessed field tribes. Go here. And this, I take it, we can just auto-resolve? A little bit worried that the severely limited number of non-range units will still take damage, but nonetheless. Also, can you go into channeling stance? Because, yeah, you need the mana. Frankly, well, you're losing a little bit of mana, but otherwise you're fine. You don't need to be here anymore, technically speaking. Either way, we'll auto-resolve this, and we'll just pray that nobody dies. One of the aspirant hoods died. How? Okay, whatever. Annoying, but whatever. I'll keep up. And then, of course, another treasure shard. Not for you, but yes, for many armies. Charmed shield, spell shield, province secured, middle Tilea. Good. We'll grab that realm of chivalry. And then you guys stay near each other, but stay out of Rafrafa because they could besiege it, so go into their camp stance. Heal up a little bit more. Alright, we'll see if they choose to attack us here. I doubt it, but they could. Give it a try. You guys could, if we land at Porte-Majour with... we might be able to be willing to auto-resolve this. Oh, that'd still probably hurt us more than I'd like. I was just thinking we could land both of these guys there instead. What's Lucchini looking like? I mean, I guess we're landing either way. That doesn't change things. And not like much. The only thing that concerns me here is what's the likelihood that you can actually reach us? This looks like your max range. What about you? I think you're fine, or at least I hope. If nothing else, you'll have some walls to sort of defend. We shall see, because obviously that one's not worth fighting. And you'll heal mostly to full. I would love for you to channel, since we seem to be losing a ton of magic due to the province wins, but, well, what can you do? What level are you? You're rank 19, just have to double check that you had healer. Let's get you right in position. There you go, buddy. Alright, this I will decide on, depending on how we handle the auto-resolve. The non-auto-resolve, doing this between the episodes most likely. And you can sit outside of Lucchini. I don't think you're going to be able to... Actually, what's the... You know what? I'm not going to risk it. You're just going to go here. Outside of Lucchini, I don't think you can get attacked. Go into channeling. I don't really care about the slight amount of attrition you suffer. Let Tech Thief stay here as well. Alrighty, so we still have Albrecht, and then we still have these two, who I think are going to follow through going to Porte-Majour. Or... considering we have plenty of armies here, we could just set them out to sea, loop around, and grab these territories. It's gonna be a little bit annoying that you're gonna take back Monte Castello, but whatever. Hopefully not the biggest of deals. Alright, you guys, go here. We'll leave Alberic unsupported, he'll be fine. It's Alberic after all. Alright, go around. And now we need to take Sartosa as well, plus there's a couple of islands we could pick up. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 armies remaining. Yeah, we'll be fine. Especially since several of our armies can most likely handle 2 armies at once, depending on which army it is. Riolas, Beaumont, you're... Oh, I already went past you, buddy. My bad, my bad. You, Rapunzel, are still traveling for 2 turns, but we're getting there. Theodric, you've got a fair bit of a ways to travel, and your fleet-footed friar has got a bit of a ways to follow you around. Speaking of... I was hoping for another one. Oh well. All good. Armand, you're fine, or at least fine for now. These guys are just holding troops in case we need to punt them to other armies. Did I move the guy moving through the mountains? Oh, yes I did. Okay. So you guys are waiting for him to reach us. Camille Everstone. I guess, yeah, you're just going to go to Estalia Frozen Sea as you are following Franciscus around. And Pierre Lamoureux. Wait. Can you go into this army? Yeah, let's pop you into this army before we go. I don't know if the lords travel faster than the heroes, but I'd rather not risk it, so let's do this. Let's sail, like so. Yeah, I just want them to arrive at the same time. So that was Camille Everstone. Tancred, you're next, I believe? Or at the very least, I don't... Yeah, I think so. Alrighty, you need to take these guys down, though. I am kind of tempted to attack Capitano Sissoko. It's a good army. The only problem is, if we auto-resolve these guys, or what's left of them, we'll take so much damage. But this is some good stuff. We got a high-tier Necrofex Colossus. Could the companions just let this undead ghost fleet or whatever sail by? I feel like they can't. And therefore, declare war. And so, war were declared. Alrighty, no allies have been chosen to become involved in this dispute. Yeah, sure.
That is forbidden.
Is it forbidden? Is it? Alright, what do we have here? Ranger Standard. I'm gonna put this on the Friar. Just in case. Or we could put it on the Damsel. She already has Strider thanks to the Unicorn, though, so it doesn't really matter over much. We gotta be wary of the Rotting Promethean gunnery mobs. Very, very wary. These guys are deceptively insanely strong. And if they surround a lord or a hero, they can easily kill them. It's, because they do have hand cannons, and they have the mass to prevent them from escaping, and the tankiness of the insane amounts of armor and melee defense and whatnot. So yeah, be careful about those. But otherwise, go.
Rewards valor. Show her that yours shines most bright.
Alright, here we go, round 2 for the companions. Also, I like how Tancred has a very sort of blue-heavy color scheme, blue and white, and then Callard is black and red. Looks pretty nice to me. Anyway, I once again forgot to take these guys off their pegs. I will do it after this battle, I swear. Or at the very least, before the next battle. Anyway, here we go. This time, the companions will not draw upon the battle pilgrims, and will instead fight on their own. It does mean charging headlong into the enemy and taking many a cannonball to the face. The Grail Guardians here, losing 50% of their HP and 3 of their numbers so far. But they just have to keep on charging. You gotta close the distance, and the danger of the biggest danger of the Vampire Coast is closing with them, not once we've closed. At the very least, not for this kind of army. And there we go, the companions are into the fray at last. We gotta take out those carronades now and pay back for the losses of some of our precious Grail Knights. And, oh, did one of the standard bearers die? No, we got both standards, good. Gotta keep the standards flying. Alright, and so the battle begins. We keep our entire mob, the Friar and the Battle Pilgrims away, but we will provide support with our Damsel, as we may need healing and all that. Ooh, and it looks like, yeah, the Necrofex Colossus is still able to fire into the blob even while the enemy are fighting, but I suppose that just like the Skaven and such, it would make sense for the zombies to be willing to fire upon their own. Or the undead, rather, to fire upon their own, including other zombies. And it's going to be a pretty simple fight. There we go, getting mobbed by crabs and monstrous infantry. We also have those Morgulls, once again, one of my favorite looking units in the game. Absolutely love these guys. Their animations are just so darn fantastic. Too bad we can't see any of their infantry executions here, but they still look pretty darn good. Even dying. You do fight as Grail companions. That's exactly the point. Well done. Anyway, we're gonna pop up that Phos protection, and the reason we have 2 of our lost sons, other than the auras in this army, is to keep that Phos protection up as much as possible. We certainly need it in the ranks here whenever we can get it up and running. Like so, giving 110 melee defense to the Grail Guardians and the additional 22 damage resistance. I forgot whether we got the tech that gives them... I forgot whether we got the tech that gives them another 10% ward save. We gotta double check. But we do want them to have it. Otherwise, it is the most simplest of battles. We're not using the charges through the enemy, though in this particular case there's just so many crabs everywhere that we wouldn't have been able to anyway. And all we can do, I mean, we can't knock these guys over with a charge. We can knock like a rotting... Wait, we cannot go for an animated Hulk with a charge or a troll unit, but I think the crabs are too stable. Although I do wonder what their mass is by comparison. Not the deck gunners. Not the deck gunners. Prime Promethean Gunnery Mob mass is 2,000 versus the Grail Guardians mass is not quite 2,000. I suppose we could also go out to... Oh wait, I think it's Tamarkan in SFO that has a plus 10% mass to the army. But I think Tamarkan is not on this map. Although I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Not that it matters over much in this particular case. The brawl yet continues. Bounce power is at about 65% in our favor. Keeping in mind, there's also a bunch of range units that are basically waiting for the enemy's numbers of monstrous infantry to dwindle, at which point they'd be able to fire into our units. And even a single volley from a bunch of handgunners would potentially be devastating. Ooh, seeing the cannon fire coming in from that Necrophax Colossus. I always enjoy the towering silhouettes of these guys as well. Such a freaking fun unit. There you go, buddy. Well, it's going to keep firing at us because we are not leaving the center of the formation. I do note that the water steed of the Lost Suns looks like an ethereal ghost steed because it's very similar in terms of what they've got going on to the ghostly units. But if it's like a water spirit, then, you know, maybe there is not that much of a difference. Another Fuzz protection comes down upon our units with that lovely 44 melee defense. Not that the enemy was having too much of a hope of carrying the day in melee here. If they were going to win, they were most likely going to win at range. Did that horse just kill them? I mean, it's a Bretonnian warhorse, not surprise. No surprises there. And the Grail Guardians Knights probably get the finest of the Bretonnian warhorses, so it does make sense. It'll be pretty good at that sort of thing. Alright, and how are we doing? Bounce power's at about 85% in our favor now, and it looks like I think I saw a volley from the deck gunners. Enemy is starting to run out of monstrous infantry. I see crabs falling to the ground below. Though it's kind of hard to spot our units between the corpses of all the crabs. Go figure. Shield of Thorns going to come down on our units now, instead of Fuzz protection, to provide the missile resistance, which at 50% is very, very high, pushing the Grail Guardians up to 70% missile resistance, and hopefully allowing them to survive the volleys from the deck gunners and the regular hand gunners. All of which can, of course, be quite dangerous here. We just need to fight a little bit more in the center of the blob, and then we can push out of it and into the enemy range units. Can't leave them firing forever after all. Like so. Perfect. There we go. With that, all three of the enemy range units are engaged, and they have no hope of survival here. Alright, come on, Ruinous. Remember about the Pegasus. Put those guys on war horses. You can do it. I somewhat believe in you. Anyway, Kella is still pretty... Actually, everybody's pretty okay. Yeah, we're doing pretty good here. And I note that the enemy admiral was sort of waiting a ways away and not contributing to the melee, just waiting with her range units. But, you know what? I appreciate that. I feel like that perhaps is how they would fight it. Anyway, now only the Rotting Leviathan and the Necrophax Colossus remains. We'll bring Big Boy 1 down in rather short order, I imagine, just by the sheer amount of high damage dealing units that we have here. Even with these being Grail Guardians and not Grail Knights, and thus not anti-large focus, they have fewer models, but well, they hit pretty damn hard. I was about to say, and then there was one, but there's still several zombies. We're just going to have to ignore them. Oh, the Pegasus closes the distance with the Necrophax before it fires off a shot, and then... I'm surprised this thing doesn't just topple over on its peg leg when it gets charged like that, but that's alright. It'll topple anyway. Although, sadly, I think we won't see it as if it is, in fact, the last unit on field. Oh, actually, we will see it, at least at the Scourge, its complement of deckhand mobs. Get a few stomps in there. And then collapse. The fact that it disgorges the peasant mob, the deckhand mob, means we can actually see it topple. As if it was the last unit on field, we wouldn't have gotten to see it. So I really appreciate that, is what I'm getting at. Alright, and there we go. Ooh, this guy with the black and white and red shield as well. Anyway, a decisive victory for the companions. No need to use the battle pilgrims who stood all the way on the other side of the map and watched. But they weren't given permission to participate, so if we run into more than one stack, that's when they will come in, and plus they're there for the auto-resolve as well. Alrighty, there we go. This time we only had the damsel supporting the lore-accurate Grail companions here, or companions of the Quenelle here, rather. Tancred looking pretty good on that mount. Just gotta get those paladins off of their Pegasi and onto horses as well to ride the enemies down together with the rest. I wish I could punt the friar out of the sort of mob and put them to the other side of the sort of separate the army into two. But anyway, eventually we won't need the damsel to support them either. They just once again need to level up to the point that we can do that. Still, a very nice fight against an extremely elite stack from Capitano Sisico. And yeah, that's an absurdly strong stack there that I think would be, I'd be happy to use against most other lore or most other armies. If I had this stack myself, I mean. Anyway, I ran some Kapazu. Wait 1 second. Who did the best out of the companions with 14k, 15k? It's one of the Lost Sons? Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. Huh, go figure. They're not using damaging spells or anything. Hey, this guy just, you know, stabbed people real hard. Good for him. Hippogriff, no. Barded Warhorse. And the the companions, wait a moment, you. Barded Warhorse, and you, Barded Warhorse. Like so. Alright, Pre-Wana Jet, faction destroyed. Well, then we got levels, but we might get a few more, so we'll just auto-resolve this and this real quick. What remains of the enemies that we've already defeated? Who had the Gleaming Pennant? I don't remember. Was it the... It wasn't the Friar, clearly. Or was it? A little bit of extra leadership. Do these guys need it? I don't know. Put it on the Lost Son. Auto-resolve. Like so, and then take the... Yeah, take the movement this time. Could help. And then take this guy out as well. Resolve. Lovely work. Alright, enemy killed in battle, enemy killed in battle, another engineer's knapsack, and... Right, I wanted this island, but there's another island in our faces right here, so I think we'd be remiss not to pick it up. Free sword of battle, free potion of healing. Errantry ends as well, and Mushroom Stew for better in battle. Curse of Cannibalism, now they all have regeneration on top of Grail regeneration. Ouch. Good luck against anybody who has to deal with them. I would like for them to heal, so I think we'll go to Coast of Albion to heal up for 1 turn, and then we will either grab this island or land one of these locations next. Rakarth is still alive in 1 territory, though they are at war. I mean, because of the anti-player bias, in the same way that it happened to Sartosa, where they immediately moved all of their armies away from here, despite the fact that there are enemy armies, the World Walkers most likely moved all of their armies immediately from attacking Mr. Rakarth and going after us instead. Which does not surprise me in any way. I'll kill this guy. Who, for some reason, decided that sacking this thing that we just took from him, which is worthless, is much more important than living. Really? Really? That's how far you're gonna move? Jerk face. Go after him, I guess. Though that does admittedly annoy. Kill him. The auto-resolve doesn't damage us too badly. We're at the max of our movement range. Yeah, it's okay. Free Tormentor Sword. Nice. Take the execute captives. That's what we're here for. And I guess we can't reach anything in the Crusade stance? Yeah, it doesn't look like it. And this is all chaosly corrupted, so we will suffer attrition anyway. Alright, well then channel to max yourself out, I guess. Good attacker, student, feather foe, torque, not bad, and there we go. Alrighty, we'll have you find another target next time. Anyway, folks, with that, I think this is a good place to call it. There's a little bit of admin to do that I will once again take care of between the episodes A and B. This was the Companions episode, and damn well did they have a couple of very nice fights. So, we'll leave it at that. Next time, we, I think, finish shoring up Albion completely. I like how we arrive and then Albion, the Albion Bowl that had lasted 70 turns is just done in 3 turns. Oh, the AIs and their deadlocks. And then we will continue our wars against Norska and Sartosa. The Bloody Hands are getting... yeah, they're probably going to be out of the picture soon. We'll probably get some nice fights out of Khorne, though, especially at the Pillar of Bone, which is a tier 5. Plus, some of our some of our armies that are currently traveling should be arriving as well within maybe next episode, so that should be fun as well. Stay tuned for all that, plus hopefully a showdown between Aranessa and Alberic. I'll try to remember to do Porta Major between the episodes, but no promises. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.